Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Mysteries and Oddities video. Alright, let's go ahead and we'll do another one here based on one of your new suggestions. This one having to do with a topic that I found to be very fascinating because I've never heard of this discussion before, but in looking at it and reading some of the information associated with it, it made me realize just how real world this stuff truly is. So rather than, let's say, it be something mysterious that could be otherworldly or something else entirely different, maybe from other dimensions. No, this stuff, this particular topic, has a very much real life application, has been used for, if according to the theories are correct, over 100 years, as long as radio has been around. And it's still, even in its antiquated ways, being utilized as a way to submit very mysterious, almost eerie-like message, cryptid or encrypted message of sorts throughout from one part of the world to another. So very, very fascinating topic. It has to do with the notion of the thing called numbers station, which is almost like a colloquial term for it, a generic category of sorts, which is essentially shortwave radio transmissions from one person to another, but all involving pretty much strange methods of displaying them, and then also the information tied to them being of very mysterious nature, like as far as their purpose and even their recognition to this very day. So let's go ahead and we'll talk about all the information associated that with here. So what is a numbers station? Well, essentially it's a short wave, or maybe sometimes even long wave, I guess, depending on how long these things reach. That's the thing, though. It's nobody has acknowledged their official existence. No government, no entity, no department. So stating like whether something is considered like a short range or a long range, it's all up in the air still to this day. But if the legends are true, then this stuff has been around ever since World War One, because basically all it is it's encrypted messages sent across radio broadcasts. Now, it's not necessarily like what you and I think immediately, like in terms of turning your dial on your average radio to just a weird coordinate, like a station that you would never ever think up to look up in your area, and then secretly finding those numbers there. It could be, but more along the lines, it's just it seems like it's just shortwave radio transmissions, private to private, but stuff that's being sent or broadcasted across the area and can be picked up by anyone else, because it's not exactly stuff that can be withheld from others. No, as long as you can tune in to that same wavelength that's being transmitted, that same frequency, then you too can pick it up. And ever since then, it's just considered a simple and foolproof method of being able to communicate. Primarily, if you're thinking of the right category, spy between spy, because apparently this seems to be the most common theme, where it's about two groups, one sending a transmission to another, but they're all working undercover. But it also seems to incorporate, if you're going under more nefarious parts of the world, drug smugglers, people that need to transmit stuff related to very, very bad things from one place to another. But again, they need to have a simple method for it. And the reason why it's still all this time to this very day available and something to use is because of its ease to do so. All you need apparently is just something, a radio transmitter, something that'll submit or do some kind of frequency broadcast, and you'll have a predetermined time, and then you'll have someone else receive it. The key thing, though, is that there's no two-way transmission, like it's not being received and then another transmission being sent back. No, the whole purpose behind this is it's like a one-time deal. That these messages, whatever they are, once they're sent out in their encrypted manner, then the other person or department receives them, and then that's it. That's what makes them so foolproof, is the idea that this thing, whenever it happens between the two departments, this espionage of sorts, by the time someone is trying to track that thing down, it's gone, because it's not going to be broadcast again within that frequency or within that station, and it's completely unpredictable. So there's, between the two parties, there's always a predetermined time, but anyone else trying to I guess, listen in on these conversations, it's just pretty much like shooting in the dark with regards to doing so. And then even trying to use, I think there was like a term called triangulated direction finding, even trying to do that, again, there won't be too much time necessary to do so. So quite interesting when you think about it, because in this day and age with so much modern technology existing, and being able to send things like at the speed of light, very, very large of data being done. So in this age, there's still this, where it's just pretty much like a notepad of sorts with special numbers listed, one person repeating those numbers for another, and then that pad being destroyed. Now, as to what the content that's being sent out from one person to another, that's what is still so mysterious, because all it seems to be, if you're just listening on it for the first time, just a random set of number sequences, for the most part at least. And listening in on these, some of them are quite creepy. In fact, I included a link below. Check it out when you have a chance. It's a YouTube video. It's called The 5 Creepiest Number Station Sounds Ever Recorded. And within it, it contains all this weird stuff. So usually the way it'll work, and even then, some of them have their own, I guess, hallmark. Like they've become their own legend within the world of number station seekers. Because there are people out there that are far more interested in this. Like they've been studying it for years. One of the people that I was reading this have been doing it for 17 years. And all it is them trying to catch these number stations as they happen. Again, it's pretty hard. Like I mentioned, it's shooting in the dark, but when they do so, it's like very thrilling for them to do so. So they create these names tied to them because of either the sound that they use or because of the song that they use. Not really necessarily like a song, but it's more like a musical instrument, and then that way that seems to announce a very specific I guess message that'll be sent out. Like some of them are called the Nancy Adams Susan, the Swedish Rhapsody, the Gong Station, the Lincolnshire Poacher. Each one, again, because of a very distinct thing, a very particular item that differentiates them for another. Like one of them that had that gong, basically it's a gong sound at the beginning, and then it's followed by a woman's voice. But this woman is almost not screaming, but she's loudly stating numbers in a foreign language, and then it just continues that way for a short time period. It was just a brief clip of it, but I heard it on that channel. And then another one called the Backward Song. It's more of something almost as if it sounds like it's being played backwards, but it's with the idea that somewhere within that sound there's an encrypted message of some sort, and then whoever's receiving it is able to take that sound and then put it through some filter, and then basically remove that lock, that encryption associated with it. Sometimes it's not even those items, it's just like weird buzzing sounds. Like another one, video that played there had to do with this strange, almost like computer-like buzzing sound. And then there was a voice that came on shortly thereafter, but most of it consisted of those buzzing sounds itself. So very creepy stuff when you think about it. I mean, this is almost like the dark world as such when it comes to espionage, because you're dealing with a world where it's stuff that people don't want others to know about, but you can still almost accidentally fall into it. Like if you're lucky one night and you're just playing around with your radio and you happen to move it to a certain station, then sure enough, then you'll hear this stuff here. So much so, in fact, that some governments, I was reading, like Iran and then other governments, like I think close to Russia, that they try to purposely jam all of these shortwave or long-wave radio signals, because they're trying to obviously stop any kind of espionage that's happening between these signals. And also there's the idea that sometimes they actually piggyback off of the support of the government, because apparently some of these stations have been existing for decades. So there's some transmissions that people know that they're there. The governments most likely know that they're there, because why wouldn't they? If the regular people know, then surely the governments know. And yet they're still there with impunity, almost like there's no stoppage of them. There's no direction finding, like I was mentioning earlier, that triangulation to try to find out where they're from. Nope. It's simply just being able to let this be, because they're able to work in some cases, it seems like, with whoever's sending these transmissions to make sure that they in turn can send stuff as well. Pretty creepy stuff, pretty eerie stuff, but again, for those that are in that world of number stations and have followed this throughout their careers, this is the stuff that absolutely, gets them excited, like when it comes to these things. And again, you don't really need anything in terms of high equipment per se when it comes to this stuff. You just need something that is simple, something that can send high frequency radio signals. This seems to be almost a detriment though, because apparently I was reading some information. There have been spies that have stated that sometimes all they have is those simple, small handheld receivers, and there they are in the middle of some country, just completely on their own. Obviously, a spy within foreign land, and there they are under difficult local conditions. Like, let's say the weather is really, really bad, or let's say the other frequencies just in that area are interfering with their own, but they're still having to work with that stuff altogether. So, but that's it. That's pretty much all the information I have when it comes to this unique world, this world of numbers station. There's even been a movie associated with it. You're looking at a picture of it here that came out a couple years ago. It goes to show again just how much topic is associated with this if you have a movie that does this. And again, the reason why it stays so long even after 100 years, because if you believe that this was used in World War One, which started in 1914. We're a little bit over 100 years then. And the reason why this is so popular even to this day is because the technology that's new today, all of it leaves a trace. But this stuff, it's so much easier to be able to discard it without having to worry about other stuff being found. Like a computer can leave data behind, but these radio transmissions cannot. Once they're out, they're gone, and you're not able to necessarily catch them in the air again thereafter. So if anyone has any more info associated with this creepy world of numbers station, please post those comments below. That'd be really great to hear. I totally imagine that somewhere in the world of Art Bell and his former show when he was on that Coast to Coast, I imagine that he probably had some topics related to this too. It's just eerie, the idea. Imagine if you're changing channels, listening to the radio, and then you come across these creepy sounds of people citing numbers for a while. Some of them, in fact, even, and I highly recommend, again, check out the actual video that I'll include the link below again, but they include voices of children reciting those sounds. Presumably, I'm guessing, is to make sure that if a spy's voices are known, let's say between governments, then if you use a child's, then it's unknown. Like, you would have no idea how to trace who that child was. So very, very creepy stuff. So, alright everybody, thanks again as always. Take care.